What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Used by You podcast. My name is Mia B, and as always, I'm so excited for you to be here today. And today, I am joined by two special guests. Oh, get it. Ooh. These are two friends who I have made here in LA and have contributed heavily to my life. So I have Essence with me today, and I have Adeira.
Yay.
Tell us a little bit about yourselves. So Essence, go ahead and go.
Oh, you just volunteered.
Yeah,
me.
like this.
Essence, your friend.
A little bit about me. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
And I moved officially to LA like maybe a year and a half ago. I'm a model, an actress, a writer, a tiny chef, and I have a son. His name is Benny. He's also a dog, and we love him.
Period.
Yes.
Period.
Hi, I'm Adeira. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm currently a high school music teacher, but I enjoy creating original music, spending time with my family and friends, and I love the Lord.
Amen.
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about life in LA.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about how that move has affected our lives, moving out of comfort and more towards purpose. And I chose Essence and Adeira to come join me today because we're all fairly-ish new to LA still. And I feel like their insight will be helpful. I met Essence at Bible study, and I met Adeira through TikTok. And like, period. And I just love the way that God has just introduced me to people who are like-minded. I feel like that is definitely a blessing. And yeah, so let's get into it.
Let's get in.
Let's get into it.
How long have you been at LA? You said a year and a half, but you didn't say.
I've been here since July of last year. So how long is that?
9.
Okay.
9 months.
Coming up on a year.
Yes, not a year yet, but coming up on a year. And I moved last year in June, so I'm at like the 10-month mark.
Yay.
So we're all fairly new. Okay, so like what brought y'all to LA? Who wants to go first?
I love how you guys are just like staring at me. Let's see. At first it was like modeling. I was doing the back and forth between New York and LA for a long time. But every time I came to LA, I would come with somebody when God never called me to come with somebody. And I'd always end up losing those friendships. So I'd go back to New York, and then I'd come back to LA and I'd try again. But like I wasn't really doing it with the Lord. I was just doing it by myself. Then I'd left again. And then I came back. I was like, this time I'm doing it with the Lord. And so I think that's what allowed me to like stay. So I really thought I came for like modeling and acting and stuff. But then you find that like it's so much more than just like your career. I'm making friends. I'm getting in tune with God. Like me and him, that's the bestie now. And like I'm able to hear him more clearly. I'm just learning a lot about myself. So like even though the career is nice, it's so much more to life than just a career.
I could definitely agree with that. Like I feel like God had to separate me to grow me and move me away from what I was comfortable with.
I agree with that as well. I think what brought me here originally was it honestly just being a place that I always wanted to move to. So it just ended up happening and it felt right. It definitely felt like God had his hand within that because I definitely believed that I was like speaking it over my life constantly, that this was the place that I was supposed to move. I never necessarily knew why exactly. I just knew that I actually really wanted to. But work is essentially like what brought me here because I wasn't going to come here without a job. So when I got hired as the music teacher in May of last year, I guess I had like that nick of time to kind of prepare that move at the end of July. And it was something that I kept saying in the process of that move is how it felt like God's hand was in it because of how seamless it felt. I feel like a lot of people when they talk about cross country moves and things of that nature. Not to say that I didn't experience like any type of stress, but I think it was very manageable. And like I just, people be like, well, what about this and what about this? Like I'm supposed to have a reaction of like, oh gosh, yeah, you're right. But no, I didn't really have that experience. It just felt like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Everything is working out just fine. And for the most part, it has.
Yay. I love that.
What about you?
Okay.
She said I was waiting for you to ask.
What brought me to LA? I don't know. Just, I guess, in hindsight, it was God. Mm-hmm. But, like, I felt uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable with how comfortable I was in Virginia. Mm-hmm. And I knew there was a change that needed to happen. And so I didn't necessarily see myself living in LA. I literally applied everywhere. I applied for jobs in Europe, New York, like Mexico. Wow. Like I literally was like, I'm open to like whatever you have for me. And I was like, if I live in California, I want to live in San Diego. Like I literally toured apartments in San Diego last year when I came to visit. And then God was like, just try LA. Like I just heard like LA, like just try to LA. And I was like, okay, let me just try here. And so that was like one of the first offers that I got that made sense for me to move. And I was like, okay. But I think through being here, like I said, I've just grown a lot. And I feel like that's really why I think God literally had to separate me from what I've known to be able to grow. Like he had to have me in this isolation period, like living here alone, coming here. I only knew one person, but you know, like essentially alone, like God had to do that. And he brought people who are kind of in the same like boat as well. So I don't know why I'm here still, but I think it is to be a light in this very dark city. So I'm gonna
feel like it was seamless for you as well?
Seamless?
As in like when God was like LA instead of San Diego, do you feel like once you said yes to like LA, do you feel like it was like seamless from there?
There was still a bit of a waiting period where like I was like, okay, when because the job that I got, like they were just taking forever and I was ready to move. But in that time I got to spend a little bit more time with my friends and family and mentally prepare and have a proper time to say goodbye. And so I'm grateful for that because I literally wanted to move way before I did. But I would say that part was necessary for me to literally trust in God. Like it wasn't based on me. And like he taught me that it's not based on when you want to move. It's going to happen when I need you to move. And I feel like it happened in that timeline because God needed to teach me like my timing, not yours. So I definitely learned that in that space. So seamless, no. I mean, yeah, but not what I would consider seamless. But it was like, I'm submitting to your timeline now. And that's what it taught me. And that's what I've carried since I've moved. Like not stressing about how things are going to work out. Because it always does. Like, what? I'm in LA. By myself. And I'm so grateful to be able to have the means to be able to do that. So yeah. Okay. All of us have quite literally left all we knew, physically moved away from where we were comfortable, and came here solo dolo. What were you most nervous about, if anything?
I think for me, I was really nervous about community and friendship because in New York, I had a lot of friends, but like they were friends because we went to school together, so it was the very convenient friends, and it was friends who just did not lead you into the like it. Not say they weren't godly friends, they knew God, but they weren't walking with God, and so because they weren't, naturally I wasn't. And when all of my friendships started to collapse, I started to think that I was the problem. Not that I wasn't, because there was definitely a lot of growing that I needed to do personally. But when I came here for a year, when I was doing the back and forth for a while, and I did have friends doing the back and forth, but it was very much friends who they wanted to party and do all these things. But when I came here, like just me and the Lord for a year, it felt like I had no friends. Like it felt like I had nobody, and I thought like I was a problem, that I was going to be alone forever. But that wasn't the truth. I think God was just like preparing me so that when I wasn't desperate for friends, I wasn't desperate for people, because when you're desperate for people, you'll end up like accepting any friendship, and you'll end up in places you have no business being in just because you want company. And so that was like the thing that I was just like worried about. But God settled my heart, and he showed me how to be alone and how to be alone with him. And then he started allowing people to come in my life, so that when it was the right people, I was able to like have an open heart about it and a different perspective on friendship. Because I was telling you like a while ago, I feel like God has changed my perspective on friendship, but like through you. Because like my friendships before were not like this. We didn't talk. Well, not that we didn't talk. It wasn't a loving friendship. It was, I couldn't communicate about stuff. I had to look a certain type of way or do a certain type of thing in order to feel like I was accepted. But like, I don't know, just through you, I feel like God has just rewritten the definition of friendship for me. And that has been the most beautiful thing. You better not cry, girl. Suck it right back up. Suck it right back up. Put it right back up.
The waterways.
It is like you said it already, but it's just like, I don't know.
Right.
I just kind of like, woo.
Put it right back up. There you go.
Woo. All right. That was really good. That was really, really good. And a good perspective, too. Like, that's not the case. God wanted for you to be comfortable with just you and him. And I love that. And I feel the same way, too.
I think
We're just like,
you're next. I think my nerves stemmed from first the idea of it all. Like, it was my first move ever besides college. So I think just stepping out and kind of being on my own and away from my family made me nervous. And I think that kind of connected to what you were saying, Essence, about the community part and meeting friends. That was a little nerve-wracking for me too.
But you're so sociable. Like you can make friends anywhere. I feel like.
Literally.
Yeah, literally, you give golden retriever energy. Like literally, like
Wow,
you're
that's-
just so kind, and like I feel like you can make conversation and just be yourself.
That's good to know. That's good to know, because on the inside, I don't feel like that. I don't feel like that. I was just like, how am I going? Like, I didn't know how those interactions were supposed to happen. Like, how do you make friends? And I think I had a similar experience with friendships too, back at home, of just like a lot of loss. And so I was wondering if that loss was like a reflection of me, and just like, am I the reason why like I don't have like good friends? But I did meet like a very special friend before I left North Carolina, and when I got here, I met, more friends. And you were the first person that I met. You and Diamond were the first people that I met outside of people from work. And so it was interesting to like take a chance through TikTok, because I was like,
You don't know. You literally did not know.
Never
Yeah.
know. But that, I don't know, it seems to be working.
Yeah. It seems to be working.
Like, I mean, y'all know Diamond.
Yeah, she's in the second episode.
Yeah. And then I met Essence through Mia. So, like, maybe it a lot of this flows through Mia.
I'm feeling like you're just like this center point where things are just connecting through. It's given a vessel. So yeah, I just feel like you're definitely like a vessel that God has been using. Like, it's really used by God. Like, it's definitely
It's
getting
giving
used because you're just like the point where everyone is meeting people, whether it comes like through family or friends. You're just like that center point where God is just like using you to be a light and a gateway for other people to seek God and to seek godly friendships, relationships.
Yeah. What's that song? Whoa, stuck like glue. Me and you, baby, we stuck like glue. Oh, stuck like glue. Y'all know that?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
I've never heard that song in my life.
Somebody gonna know that.
I'm so weak. I love hosting and I like doing small stuff because I like connecting people. I like when people like, like with Thanksgiving, even with the like 2 people that were newer, I felt like it just felt like I want to create spaces where people can connect. Yeah, okay. And then and I may do a little bit more of that in life, but for now,
thank you. We appreciate that, Mia.
Yeah,
We
so
appreciate that.
So yeah, but I think that I was most nervous about community as well, because I have such a solid community back at home. It's all I ever knew, and I didn't really honestly care to make friends at home because I had the community already. So I'm like, I don't even know how to make friends as an adult. Like, this is I'm scared. But like I said, I think that everyone I have met has been a God thing, because like, we live in an industry infiltrated like city where people are fake and they're users, and they, no shade, so sorry, where people are like not are hold on, let me say that again, because I don't want to call nobody fake, but like they are not comfortable with their identity, and they you know, just not true to themselves. And so it's hard to make friends with people like that who are constantly wanting things from other people. And with my friend who already lived here, he's in the industry, and I kind of saw the fruit of those friendships. And I'm like, I'm so scared to come to LA. Like, there's no genuine people. But God was like, watch this. Like, everyone that I've met has been so genuine. There has not been an ingenuine person. And so that just goes to show, like, whatever you're scared of, like when you're moving to something new, like, give it to God. Like, he already has a handle. Like, he already had me like ready to meet these people. I just had to be open to it too, you know.
And for you to say like the thing that you were scared of was community, but then at the same time you're the one who's bringing everybody to you're the one connecting people, and you just moved here. It makes me think about it makes me think about, so like in Genesis it talks about like how first there was a void, and then God said, let there be light, and there was light. Then he made the seas, and then the beasts and the creatures of the seas, and then the trees, and then the animals, and then Adam. He didn't make Adam. He could have made Adam when there was still a void, but there would have been nothing there for him. But he waited till there was a place set for him to bring him to, so that Adam had everything he needed. So like, for you to be scared of community, but God already had everything in place for you.
He set it up already.
Everything was already set up. Because he didn't sin. He didn't tell Adam, like, he didn't make Adam when it was nothing. He had everything ready for him.
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing. Like, God had everything ready for you.
Yeah, he just needed my yes.
He just needed your yes. Period.
Yes, Lord.
Oh.
Yes, Lord.
It's always the singing. Always the singing.
Yes, Lord. How has your move across the country contributed to your growth as an individual? We talked about how it's grown us, but like how, you know, and as an individual, and then your spiritual growth too. Did we kind of tapped, but let's get deeper, you know? Okay.
What about you, Mia?
Yeah.
Why don't you answer your question?
Start.
I feel like it has just, again, just starting with the move over here, like with the My Timeline Not Yours, like really like putting that into effect. It's helped me to take my hands off the wheel with control. Like, God, I literally trust you so much. You've made all of this happen. I can't not trust you. Like, it's deep in my trust in him. Like, to the point, like, I've always been a planner. I always had the next plan for my life, and like, people are like, what's next? I don't know. I don't care, because like, God's gonna make it happen, whatever it is, and I trust in his plan for me, because it's way better than mine. And just spiritual growth as well, I've noticed in myself, and I think that had to do with me being in this space by myself, like waking up, getting into my word, not having the distractions of friends who are not in this, you know, it's not in the same, like, whatever with me. The
unequally yoked friendships.
Yeah, like, just like really, like, God had to grow me in that way, for me to move differently, for me to hear, like, I feel like I don't know if this is a thing, but like, you know, you're holy, like I'm more in tune with the Holy Spirit since I've been over here. Like my discernment has grown since I've been over here. I'm like, my eyes are more open to the things that's going on in this world. Whereas before I kind of would have like glossed over, like, but now it's like, because I've gotten so like locked in with God, it's like, I see things differently. So yeah, I feel like God really had to take me over. Like I think he was like, Mia, there's so much for your life and you need to like he had to like chisel, like, you know what I mean, like this is the chiseling part to be what he's called me to be. Like he had to do all of this work away from everything that I knew. And if we look at anybody in the Bible, like when they said like Abraham, he had to go from what he knew, like
to separate him.
Yes, like he had to separate people from what they knew to become. And I feel like that's a part of my journey. And I feel like it's just kind of scary too, because I like really got to be locked in. Like it's so easy for me not to be locked in too. Get up but like I don't know, I just feel like God just has a greater purpose for me in this life other than where I'm at now. So it's like I really want to continue to be locked in, and this move has like contributed to the start of that. If that makes sense.
I feel the same. When I was back in Brooklyn, it was like, because I was so distracted and I was like fresh on my walk with the Lord, because I was so distracted, there was like a part of me that in the distraction I would always like go in a quiet place to like seek the Lord. But then to come out here and the only thing that is a distraction is yourself and social media, I felt like it was so hard to like get in tune with the Lord, because back then I had an excuse. It's because everything's so loud, let me like get in with the Lord. But now when everything is not loud, it's like, that's when you should be like, okay, yes, I have the freedom to like get tapped in with the Lord. But at the same time, it's like, well, now I have freedom. What can I do? And so for a while, I think that's why I was like by myself for a year, because like I don't think I was getting it. It wasn't like clicking for me. And it wasn't until it clicked, and I feel like it's now clicking. So for me, I'm very much a busybody. You can't see, but I have a brace on my foot, because I just be moving. I just be doing too much. And as much as I'm like, oh, be still and one with the Lord, I have a problem with like, I'm getting through this issue of being still and being with the Lord.
God had to break her foot. For her to sit down. But you know, it's not too.
I'm sad. I'm sad, but I still find myself trying to like move. I still find myself trying to like just do a lot. But in this time of just like stillness and getting off of social media, I feel like I can hear the Lord more clearly, but I also hear like there's so many distractions, so many things distracting me from just like being with him. And like, I don't know. So for my like you said, spiritual and physical growth. For my spiritual growth, just I'm learning how to sit down. I'm learning how to sit down. Just sit down. Don't do anything. Just sit down. And it's hard to like just sit there, because like now you're overthinking. You're thinking about everything. Maybe I should get up. Maybe I should go sit down outside. Maybe I should take a walk and like be still. So like that's been something right now. Just being still. It's very hard.
But it's so important. It's so important for the growth. Like I said, to hear what God is saying. You can't hear him if you're trying to do everything else. He's literally like, girl, I have an instruction for your life. Listen. But you want to,
you know what?
You want to
you know what?
go right ahead.
Maybe.
And see
Doing
where
my
that
best.
gets you.
Literally, see where it gets me with the boot on my leg.
Points the camera to the boot. This is where that's going to be.
Yo.
That's crazy.
but I was talking about essence too. That's God's love. Like literally, like he could literally let you be doing whatever to prolong the process. But he said, essence,
Sit down. Sit
he literally
down.
made you sit down.
It makes no sense. I'm in the gym every day. I'm always doing something. I'm outside. I'm on a walk. Every day I have to do something. And now that I can't, I like, but I've been reading. I've been reading. I've been in the Word. I've been crying a lot. But like you said, that is God's love, because he could have just let me fall into my own destruction. But he said, I loved you enough to sit you down And, you know, I could be like, this was the enemy. But what the enemy meant for evil, God meant it for good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this move taught me grace. I have like type A in me, and I think
didn't know that.
yeah,
I don't get that.
right.
I'm so lost.
Yeah.
Type A, like structure,
Yeah.
personality. Yeah.
And so
Not saying you're not structured.
no, but no, like most of it is like internal though, like how I plan out my week, or like I'm a big calendar person, and so I think when I was back in North Carolina, I was kind of approaching my faith that way, and so
Let me write that down. Just write that down.
yeah, it is Willow, yeah. But yeah, and so I think what I mean by that is I had like a Bible study, and we met like once a week on a specific day at a specific time, and for the rest of the days of the week I felt like I was in my word, going to church, things of that nature. And so when the move happened, I feel like the first 2 weeks we were able to keep up with the Bible study schedule, but just with the time change and everybody's life kind of taking different routes, it kind of came to a stop. And so for a period of time, it felt like my faith, in a sense, kind of came to a stop, because I felt like I put so much of my faith into the way that I was operating within that. I think that was like the bulk of my relationship. And so I think the place that put me in was just a place of really negativity and just feeling lost. And I also didn't give myself any grace. And I think a big thing that I grew to understand was like what used to be my normal, when you maybe make a cross country move, that normal might not be like a thing anymore. And that's kind of what it was for me, to like take a moment to recognize. But most importantly, it was important for me to recognize that like it didn't take away God's love for me, or how he viewed me as a child. So I think whatever, it just looked different. Like, so it turned into like music creation, and like creating like my first like Christian based song, or finding time of prayer when I needed to make the time. It was just, it was a different way of prioritizing God that I don't think I ever had to, because like work was a lot, and just the move was a lot in itself. So I just think finding that time was important for me. So I think that was a big thing, I guess, like spiritual growth, of understanding the grace that God gives, like, because in a sense, like, I felt like I had not necessarily like given up on God, but it was just like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I'm not connected to you because there aren't these specific things that I was doing to connect with you. So I think God just revealed to me that God is everywhere. And he's not like a to-do list. So when I met, people like y'all, or finding, different churches, or making Christian-based music, different ways. It's been a nice journey. So now I give myself that grace, because I understand that God gives me that grace. So I think spiritually that's kind of been it for me.
I love that.
It's like God just took you out of your routine.
Yeah.
And he was like, we're going to switch it up, because this is not the only way for you to hear from me.
Yeah.
He said I exist outside of your time schedule.
Ooh, literally.
Yeah, I love that.
He gave that.
Yeah, I love that though.
Yes.
I really do love that. It's the end of, yeah.
Like, unfinished song. It's just the improv.
Yeah. So like, what have you learned about yourself does this go hand in hand with the last one? No, that was what your spiritual growth in God. But like, have you learned anything about yourself in this process? And what has God taught you? Well, we kind of said that, but
Innocence.
yeah, but like yourself.
I think for me, I found that I don't finish things. I don't finish things. I get overwhelmed with so many things that I jump from like project to project or to-do list to to-do list that I end up not finishing anything. And that kind of sucks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do to like
Wait,
combat
what are you gonna
that?
do to fix it?
What are you gonna do?
Has there been a solution in your head, or is that just a like recent realization?
I was talking to my friend the other day, and she was basically like, just do the first step. And I was like, okay, great. I do the first step, but sometimes I stop there. I do the first step. But like, if you have, like, if it's something simple, like doing your laundry, it takes me forever. Why? I have no idea. I just don't finish. I just don't finish. So like, if you do the first step, after step 1, go to step 2. After step 2, go to step 3. Like, actually hold that list in your hand. Like, I know there are some people, like, for you guys, you both love lists and calendars and stuff. For me, no, I don't like it. I just go on a whim. But for someone like me, a list would be necessary. Complete the list and then move on to the next thing. I'm always like, I'll finish at step 2 and then I'll start something new. I'll find something new to do. So I think finishing what I started. Yeah.
I think for me, it's still kind of hand in hand with spirituality, but I think it taught me to not associate doubt with faith. I feel like a lot of the things that were kind of happening to me here, I was just like, it was a lot of but what if God don't? And so I think, especially in the season that I'm in right now, it's just been a lot of like, it's just trust. And it has to be that. It can't be a but. It's just like no doubt that's associated with faith. I feel like the two don't coincide. So I think that's something I've learned about myself, maybe like how much doubt was associated with my faith. And I think maybe on a personal level, the move taught me the importance of like fostering relationships that I guess I already had, like with people from back home, kind of just extending, like reaching out, letting people know that you're thinking of them, and realizing how much of a long way that goes. So, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
What about you?
I agree with that too. I didn't even think about that. Like, the effort it takes to maintain those relationships and those dynamics. Like, I'll have like weekly calls with people. Like, you have to schedule that out because life gets so busy. So definitely that, like the effort it takes to maintain adult friendships, especially cross country.
Yes.
I've also learned like the importance of obedience. I'm going to push something off and like, but maybe, but but God has shown me like, just trust me. Like over and over again, I feel like the theme has just been trust. Like since the beginning of this, like before I even moved, it's been trust. And he's just been pushing me deeper into that. And then on a personal level, like how important it is for me to have routine and like stick to routine for me to have a productive week. Because I don't have, like, I used to live with one of my best friends. One of my other best friends lived across the street and, like, 2 minutes away. So, like, I don't have that accountability to go to the gym, to, like, do the Bible. Like, I led a Bible study as well. Like, all that stuff is, like, it's not on me because I have the strength of God. But, like, my part is sticking to the routine, I think. So, I've learned that in my, because if not, I might be in the bed for half the day. So, I have to, like, stick to, like, to get things done, to be used as the vessel that God has called me to do. Because, like, otherwise, why am I here? You know? Yeah. So I do want to stick to the routines. That's something that I got to keep working at.
Love a routine.
It's like a song after
everything.
It's like before the next question, there has to be a song.
We got a couple more. How has this move pushed you closer to purpose?
I was talking to you about it earlier. I feel like God has given me so many gifts that I tend to become overwhelmed with them. And so in my quiet time with the boot on, we just like narrowed it down to 3. Not really narrowed it down, but like these are 3 main things that I need you to do, or 3 main things that you will focus on for right now. Because if I don't have something to focus on, I'm going to keep trying different new projects, and then eventually I'm going to be 98 and have not completed anything. And I feel like within these 3 things, I feel God is moving me closer each day, and every day it just like comes with like trusting, because I don't know how this is going to happen. I don't know where I'm going to get the money from this thing. I don't know where I'm going to do this thing. I don't know when, but like just trusting that everything is going to work out for my good, and know that my steps have already been ordered. Because if he is the Alpha and Omega, if he is the beginning and the end, that means he already knows the story. He already has written the most perfect story for me and for my life. And so to just trust him that every little step, whether it's just like connecting with somebody or reading, whatever like the smallest step is, that is like one step closer to where he's calling you.
I'm definitely still figuring out my purpose. The one thing's for sure. I think a lot of, I guess, I try not to connect purpose to career, but I think that's kind of just the stage I'm in right now, is just figuring out career, which leads me to figuring out just more, I think, within my purpose. But when people meet me out here, I think one of the first things that I'm quick to tell them is how much I don't like my job.
I don't like it here.
Yeah. And so when I was in North Carolina, there was a specific job that I really wanted in Los Angeles. And I think I was taking a lot of steps to get that job. I was applying. I got a lot of no's. I ended up getting like a virtual internship through them while I was still in North Carolina. So that was a pretty big thing, which still made me believe, like, once I got here, when I started applying for stuff, that I was going to get a lot of yeses within that. But it's kind of been not that. So recently, when I applied for something through them, I secured like an interview, which is like not something that's happened before.
Okay.
Did the interview, they let me know that they went with somebody else because of experience, but there was another opportunity. So that interview is actually this week.
Okay.
It's in person, but I think my purpose is, I guess, to just like how it's pushed me closer is to understand God's timeline and not my own, because I think I could have been like at that job when I first moved here, but I think even how like God will just show himself and be like, no, but you ready now. And so, and like there's still some like, I don't know if this is going to be the job, but you know, like I'm just in that mode of like, God, okay, this is clearly you. So kind of just like in the waiting period. But I think that's my call, and that's been mostly my push of just like recognizing how waiting is definitely associated with weariness, and I think God helps fill that void of continuing on that push. So yeah, I think but I still don't know what my purpose is though, like in a sense.
Yeah.
In a sense, I don't know like what it
exactly.
is.
Yeah. I think, were you about to say something?
Oh, I was about to bring up the Bible verse.
You better bring up the Bible.
I'm screaming.
Thank you.
Psalms 84:11 from the ESV says, "For the Lord God is a sun and a shield. The Lord bestows favor and honor. No good thing does he withhold from those who walk uprightly." So like we were talking about that earlier. God is not going to withhold any good thing from you. So if it's a no, understand like that's God's no, and there's a reason. So, Lord, where do you want me to go, and what do you want me to do? Because you could want this thing so bad, and you can just be holding on to this thing that you can't even open up yourself for whatever he has for you. So understand that even if it feels like he's withholding it from you, it's not a good thing that he's withholding from you. And it may be a good job, but it might not be your good job.
Right.
It might be someone else's good job. So,
especially with your heart posture now, it's like, okay, God, like whatever it is, type of thing, like knowing that if it doesn't happen, it wasn't your
literally.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to
It's
feel.
a hard thing.
That's a hard thing to feel, and recognizing that, like that I even have that, I know that's God. Because human me is just like, but because obviously, like I'm still like, I hope it works out. But I've had that conversation with God where it's just like, even if it's not, like I just know,
and that's where he wants you.
because you don't know what he's like also blocking you from. Like it may be someone in the room or something in the room that he does not want you to experience, or maybe somebody's not ready to receive you. So he's like, I can't position you there because it's not their time and it's not your time.
right?
But he could always have something else for you, and it could be 6 times better, 7 times better, 10 times better than the thing that you wanted. And you may get there and it might not be everything that you imagined. Then you're gonna be like, Lord,
Right.
what is this? Exactly. Have you know what is this? And he could be like, girl, I didn't want you here. It's because I had something greater for you, but this is what you want, so I'm actually gonna give you the thing that you want. But don't like get your hopes up that this is gonna be everything, because it might not be.
Right.
So he's not gonna withhold any good thing from you. He got you.
Yeah.
Oh, the singing. What about you?
This has always been proper.
Right, but what about you though?
What about you, Mia?
I think that what I've learned about purpose within the past 2 years, because I used to attach it to career, because I wanted to be a doctor so badly. That's what I wanted for
Mia.
like 10 years of my life. And so now that is not the route that I'm choosing to take, now that's not the route I'm on, I'm realizing that purpose first and foremost is just being open to being a vessel of God. Like my biggest purpose is to be a light and to reflect God in any way, and that takes a lot of molding and shaping and breaking, and not being a reflection of my flesh and like my own selfish desires, but of God. So that's my purpose. And the way that this move has contributed to that is just by like reminding me that even in the little things, like I can be contributing to someone else's life, even in the smallest conversation, because I'm actively trying to be a reflection of who he is. And the main goal of us as believers is to be a light and to like bring people to Jesus. So like I'm hoping that that's what my position is in other people's life, even if I don't see the fruit of that, even if I just plant the seed. So I think that's my biggest purpose. I have a lot of passions, I have a lot of things that I want to do, but even in all of those things, I want to give God glory, and I want to allow those things to be a reflection of him as well. Whereas before it was, I want this because it's gonna make a lot of money, and I want I want to help people in X, Y, Z. But in this, it's like I'm being a reflection of who God is, and also it's going to help people in a much bigger way than the box that I wanted it to be in. So I think my purpose lies in a lot of different avenues, and I'm open to see what else God has for me too. But the biggest thing is just having the mindset of like dying to myself, dying to my flesh every morning. That's my purpose, to be a reflection. And I don't always get it right, but that's my biggest goal.
And to know that you're a light, to just know that you're a light, that allows you to walk in rooms knowing like no matter what room it is, whether there are several lights or whether the room is super dark, to know like God has called me to be a light in every single room. That is a good posture to walk in. Like,
I feel like here especially, like it's like I know I'm in this city especially for a reason, even if it's just me bumping into someone in a grocery store, like changing their perspective on something, volunteering on Skid Row, like you know what I mean, like just my little whatever. We went to an Oasis Youth Night, has to be the thing, And she was talking like it was all about people who like moved to LA or whatever. And I was like, I think that God has all these people moving to LA specifically to illuminate the city. Like LA is not known for Jesus, you know? And I feel like it's so random how God, not random, obviously, it's calculated, but, you know, God is just calling all these people to this city who love God for us to be lights in this city. And so I just want to be used.
Amen.
Oh, I want to be used by you.
I was about to say, it's giving used by you.
Yeah, I just want to, like, that has been the posture of my heart recently. Like, I don't know, I don't care what you got me doing, just as long as I'm pleasing you guys. So, yeah. Okay, 2 more. What has been your favorite part of being in LA?
What has been your favorite part, Nia?
Okay. I just like the fact that like I got to live here before I had responsibilities, before I was married, before I had children, because I get to experience like a big city. I get to experience like, because there's I heard that. I heard that. It's a big short. Big. That was crazy. Getting to experience just like the nuances of like something simple like going on hikes and like, you know, there's always something cool to do here that I couldn't do like in Virginia. Like obviously it's different from New York because New York was New York, but like, you know, my small, you know, Virginia to here, like being able to experience all the cool things without any like getting up and deciding, hey, I want to do this today. Like, hey, I want to go to Disney. Hey, I want to go to the beach. Like that is such a cool thing to do. You can't just do that anywhere. Like, and especially when you have children and when you have, you know, a husband and stuff like that, you have to take them into consideration. So I just absolutely love it here. I love like all of my experiences. I love the area that I've been. I love the people. I love all the things. And so just making the best out of every moment, every day.
What you said about like responsibilities, I think that it's so important because even when it comes time for like marriage, God is also just like expanding your community, like your community that is like consecrated in the Lord, people who can pray over your marriage and pray over the relationship, can pray over your home whenever you buy yourself a house, and just to have that community who does pray, who comes together and can pray for you when it does come time for God to like open up those doors for you. It's also super important, and it's nice that God is just like allowing those relationships to develop so that you're not you don't feel alone. Because like if you and your husband are arguing and you end up going into different rooms, whatever, you don't feel like you're necessarily alone, because then you have your community and his community who comes together and prays for you guys together, rather than, oh, I'm just going to pray for Mia, or I'm just going to pray for whoever you marry. They're like, I'm going to pray for you guys as a whole. Because, you know, you do have some people like, oh, well, I'm only team you. Whatever, I'm only team you. But when you get married, you're like one. So, like, I need you to pray for us. Not just me. I need you to pray for us together. We got to
figure this out.
So I hear that on the responsibilities, but it's nice to make friends. I think that that's been my favorite part as well. Making friends and exploring LA in California with like new people and having new experiences, because I grew up in New York, so everything I knew was very much New York. Like I don't think the food out here is delicious at all. There's no
hasn't been to the right place.
There's no good pizza. There's no good Caribbean food. There's no fruits. The sour stuff, the sugar cane. Like this, it's not giving me what I wanted to give. Okay, I miss New York, Brooklyn, especially for the food. So yeah, just exploring LA, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, the food's so good," and I'm like,
"The food do be good though."
Girl, no, it's
y'all
not.
haven't Bakari.
Okay,
I want some oxtail, some rice and peas, some plantains. Like, just thinking about it. But yes, the friendships, and just experiencing new things. The food, not so much, but the friendships and the new experiences have been my favorite part. Yeah.
I love that. I think definitely the friendships and like the accessibility. When I got over being overwhelmed by it when I first moved here, I was like, oh, this is fun. Like having stuff to do. I think that's awesome. Like you were saying, the beach, the mountains, like everything is kind of like around you where you can experience all of those things. So I think that's something that I really enjoy about living here. I love what I can take my dog to do and like where I can take her, which is pretty much everywhere. Which is
Literally.
nice. like
like Benny's at a coffee
everybody
shop.
brings their dog everywhere. I think culturally, I like LA. I think it's taught me a lot about different cultures. Like if you do not know Espanol, you will begin to learn some Espanol, because I feel like there's a lot of Hispanic culture and even the connection that I've grown and understanding that I've grown about other people's experiences with growing up here has been a big thing. Like that's made me like being here even more, because you just get to like appreciate what your experience has been.
Yeah.
I teach students from South Los Angeles, and like even walking the streets of South LA is like totally different from what I saw growing up. So it just, like when I was talking about grace earlier, I think that's something that I like about living here too. It's just like the grace that you begin to extend, because what your experience has been is totally different from somebody else's. And so, yeah, I like living here. I like living here.
Do you?
It's like a question mark,
I
right?
like living here. Yeah.
I think
Definitely a question mark at the end of that.
It was. I like
Okay.
living here because I think I said that because there are things that I don't like.
I feel that,
So
girl.
maybe
I
think
feel that.
as soon as I said that, it came to mind.
It's because the area we in.
Right.
It's just the area. It's just the area we
Yeah. No, but I love my area.
It's a great area.
I think what's associated, like, it's interesting because, like, culturally, like, these are, like, the black people that I know.
in.
And I think the community part, if you are from here, where are the black people at?
Heavy on that. Because where we live,
Where
they're non-existent. We are the black people. We make up the demographic of African Americans.
Where are we at?
I'm
And-
so weak. My friend was talking about that. Like, he was like, I just miss like having black people around. And I was like, everybody that I've met has been
Right.
black though.
It's like you
Yeah.
meet black people. I feel like you will meet black people, but I think
like
I'm
spaces for
yeah, that's
curate-
kind of what I'm wondering. But also, that's like not an event. I don't want to have to go to Black Market Flea or Everyday People or Hilltop Coffee to meet black people.
But I think it's also because we're from the East Coast.
Is that what it is?
It's black people everywhere. You
Yeah,
can't miss them.
right.
They're there. And then you come out here and you're like,
Weave it out.
like,
And then you spot your one.
Yeah.
Be like,
from
yo,
down the block. From down the block. You see me? I see you. Okay.
I'm so weak.
yeah.
I'm so weak.
Yeah.
Culturally expanding. Yeah.
It has
Okay.
been.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. Encouragement for others thinking about moving. Encouragement for others scared about leaving their comfort zone. Move.
Are you? I'm good.
Okay. Did you hit your head on the mic?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Just right here.
Oh.
It's
I
gonna
hope it's
pick
no
that
makeup
up.
there.
Oh.
Encouragement for moving. God told Abraham
Better bring the water.
to leave
I'm trying.
his mother and his father's house to go to a place where he would show him. He never told him exactly where he would go. He said to a place that I will show you. So you'll see it when you get there. So if you feel like God is calling you somewhere and you really feel it on your heart, number one, fast and pray about it. Meditate on it and give God a yes regardless. And when he tells you where to go, pack your bags.
Oh.
Just pack your bags. Ask him for a date and pack your bags. Don't move prematurely, but get ready to go where God is taking you. Because if he knows exactly how this story would go, if he has already prepared a place for you the same way he prepared a place for Adam, trust him. He's not going to send you somewhere and then be like, actually, maybe not. He's sending you there because he has something there for you. Even if it's not for you, it's for somebody else. Somebody else may need you. You may need to be the vessel that Mia is. Like Mia.
That we all are.
That we all are. But Mia is clearly like a vessel. Like you may need to be this vessel. Wherever God is sending you, just pack your bags. Pack your bags. I know it's scary. but pack your bags.
Get the flight.
If you needed a sign,
If you needed a sign,
this is your sign.
to pack your bags. Like, I'm so serious. You don't need anyone else's approval. You don't need anyone else's yes. You don't need, and respectfully, you don't need anyone else's blessing but God's.
Right.
You get locked in with Jesus. You ask him exactly where he wants you to go, or what flight am I booking? Where do you want me to go? Who do you need me to talk to? What do you need me to do?
Okay.
Because everyone else's opinion is going to try to lead you somewhere else. But imagine Abraham asked for everyone else's blessing, everyone else's opinion on where to go. He would have missed exactly what God had for him.
Yeah.
And through Abraham, our story had became.
That's a word.
She sound like that dude from that ICDC college commercial. You know what I'm talking about?
I
You sitting
see
on your
the-
couch, watching TV. That's him. You don't know what that is?
You don't know? Wait, I think that was like a Virginia thing. Virginia, North Carolina.
It might have
thing.
been.
Like,
was
was it Romeo that said that?
Was that his name? No.
ICDC college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so wait,
What
that's
is
two
that?
different things.
Oh.
What was that? Who is that guy that was like?
I know what you're talking about.
Sitting on your couch,
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
TV.
We
You
gotta show
gotta
you.
find
We gotta show you.
You
You
gotta find it and include it in this. I'm gonna bring up a scripture like at the end. My Lamentations chapter 3.
Come on now.
And it's verse 22. It starts there. The faithful love of the Lord never ends. His mercies never cease. Great is his faithfulness. His mercies begin afresh each morning. I say to myself, the Lord is my inheritance. Therefore, I will hope in him. The Lord is good to those who depend on him, to those who search for him. So it is good to wait quietly for salvation from the Lord. And it is good for people to submit at an early age to the yoke of his discipline. So I think if you're considering moving, like, did you say to LA or just moving?
Just in general.
Oh, okay. I would read that because I think just trusting in God's plan for you and having faith in the Lord is really going to be the thing to truly get you through that entire move. I think from the moment that it comes to your mind, like when you get the idea, and every step that's going to be required after that, like you are going to need Jesus. So yeah, that's what I would say. And save your money. Save your money. But even if God is telling you to move with no money,
he gonna provide.
He
'cause
will.
He is Jireh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I definitely moved here with dry pockets.
Yeah, I think y'all really hit the points on like moving, like advice for moving. I guess mine would be for moving out of comfort and into purpose. Like, discomfort is the language of growth. I love that quote because, like, you're going to stay stagnant if you stay where you're comfortable. You won't become all that you're destined to be, all that God has already called you to be, if you want to stay in comfort, if you want to stay with what's familiar. Like, there has to be an familiarity.
Yeah.
There has to be that, you know, in order to deepen faith, in order to deepen your trust in God. Because if you're comfortable, do you really see God? You know what I mean? Like, you already know what to expect. He wants you to go out into the water and walk on water and have your eyes stayed on him at any second. And that's uncomfortable. So put your faith in God.
Amen.
yes.
Yeah.
I put my faith in Jesus. My
Anchor
anchor
to
to
the
the ground.
ground.
My
What's
hope
that?
in firm
Firm
foundation.
foundation.
Okay.
You never let me down. It's the class for me.
Adeira.
I love that.
Adeira. But yeah, that's all I have for today. I think that was a very fruitful conversation. I hope that it like blesses somebody.
Amen.
Yes, thank you for
Yeah,
having
love that.
us.
Thanks for being here, guys. Oh my god. But yeah, I'm so grateful for these two. I'm so grateful that God is using me as a vessel to even
Yay.
have
And
a
a good
platform.
A fruitful
Clean me
vessel.
out. Clean me up, God. So that I can be used as a vessel. Thank you guys so much for joining. Until next time.
Bye.
Peace.